Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Coriander and Killian, we are back with Rambo. We're talking about
Yeah.
Rambo 3.
Yeah, we are.
Nothing is over! Nothing! So, we've, we've returned to the Rambo franchise, and hopefully we'll be able to finish it up. Real quick, we'll just do a quick take on this thing, man. We already talked about First Blood, and we talked about Rambo First Blood Part 2. And now we're on to the third one. And the franchise at this point was just taking names, man. It was just so big in the 80s. Let's do a quick take. Killian, what does this movie mean to you?
Well, you know it's funny. I'm of two minds on it.
Mhm.
As a kid, I loved the second movie so much,
Yeah.
and this one, also I loved just as much. But now looking at it as an adult, this one is a little bit further away from that quality of the first movie, the story and the heart of the first movie.
Yeah.
But of course, we got Trautman, so I'm just gonna say this, even when Trautman is a prisoner, he still is a good hype man.
Isn't
All
it?
right. Even when he's a prisoner getting tortured, he's still like, you don't know what you're messing with. He's telling you.
Hey, he said something about God. He's like, no, God would have mercy. He won't. I was like,
What is this man you talk of?
who is this
Man.
Rambo?
You don't want to know.
Right. Okay, man. Nice. What about you, Coriander? What does this movie mean to you?
Well, this is the first time I've seen it, so I just have to
Right. That's
say,
right.
yeah, I've enjoyed all of these movies. And this movie, I mean, for action and it's great. It's a badass fucking film, and I loved how there was exploding bodies. I mean, come on. It was great.
Right. All right. For me, and I won't get too deep into it out because we're gonna get ready to start up in a minute once we check the chat. But Kill said it when we were kids. I just loved these movies. I ate them up. So Stallone was just a huge part of my movie fandom. So this movie really meant a lot to me back then. But like you said, as I got older, I started to see the depth of First Blood, and that rose, above the other ones for me. But this one is still very, very good. So we'll get more into that in a second. But let's just check the chat before we start proper with our intro. We got my man Neon Black, Neil. He is in the chat saying, "Hey guys, what's going on, man?"
Hello.
Hey.
All right. We got Nerdy John in the chat. All right, man. Saying another live stream, baby. You know it, man. You know it. We got my man Eric. Eric is in the chat saying, took me a few rewatches to end up enjoying this one as much as I do now. Still a good entry, though. Yeah, I hear you, man. Eric says, better hype man, Trautman or Dr. Loomis? Tough choice,
They're
right?
both so good.
Aren't they? Aren't they? Oh my God. And we got Slasher Fred in the chat too. What's going on, man? How you doing, man? Nice to see you. All right, guys, you know what we're going to do. We're going to finish getting set up. So for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax. You know what time it is. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. Kill, let's start this thing off, man. What are your quick thoughts starting off the gate, how this movie started?
Well, look, I look at John Rambo a lot like I look at Ellen Ripley.
Okay.
His life has been just full of war.
Mhm.
Full of war, being a prisoner, being in prison, being imprisoned by his own country and by, the enemy country. And he's finally found some sense of peace. I mean, he's chilling out in the monastery. He's doing his stick fighting thing, just to make some money to give back to the monks,
Right,
and keep his skills sharp. And he's at peace, man. But good old Trautman, Look, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. It's like Troutman and the dad from that '70s show roll up.
Yeah, but also your boy from RoboCop, yo. Your
Oh
boy from
yeah,
RoboCop, boy.
Gangster from RoboCop.
Barker.
Yeah.
And they ruin his zen, man. He's finally trying to find peace, and
Right.
I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I loved the cinematography. I loved him hanging with the monks in the monastery, and he's just working with his hands, and he's just trying to find some semblance of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And until it gets ripped from him again.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Coriander, how about you? What did you think of the beginning as far as, like Killian was saying, him at the monastery, just trying to get away from this violent life that he's led?
It, like you said, it was beautiful. That scene where he's sitting on top and he's just looking over like the whole scenery of the area. It was really beautiful. And I mean, he's so badass. I mean, when he was getting ready for that fight scene, and he's tying on his bandana, and I mean, he looks pretty damn good. I mean, look at him. He's toned and he's ready to go. Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, look, to be honest, and Kill knows this. I mean, that's what you always came to expect from Stallone, man. He was always like,
and those puppy dog eyes too, to boot.
Oh,
all right,
okay.
Miss Coriander. All right.
But let me also check the chat here too, man. We got Lord Ron's in the chat saying hello, everyone. What's going on, man?
Hey.
Eric saying Rambo with his epic 80s hair. That's right, man.
Yeah.
It was the dead of the 80s.
If only he had,
Be careful.
Oh my God, I know. Kurt Russell's tight jeans. It would have been like perfect.
All right.
We got my man Doomsday in the chat saying, "Sup guys, I'm still baffled. Dark Fate number 3. I'm out of here."
Oh.
We gave good reasoning. Come on, man. It's okay. It'll be all right. Neil saying Stallone won a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor for this. Geez, people expecting way too much. Absolutely, man. I mean, this is an action movie.
It is, and I thought he did pretty damn good.
He did.
Yeah.
Slasher Fred saying Gremlins 2 does a Rambo parody, right?
Yeah,
it did.
Doomsday saying that fight with Glass Knuckles was parodied a ton in the day, like Matrix in the 90s. Yeah. Yep. Cryptomary is in the chat. What's going on? Saying this one is good. I will have to catch the replay on the review. Excited to hear what the panel thinks. Thanks a lot. We really appreciate that. Glad to see you and enjoy the replay. We got Video Tasties in the chat saying just off to bed. We'll catch this tomorrow morning. Rambo 3 rocks. Would have had more success if it came out a year earlier due to political climate. That's a very good point, and that's definitely something to talk about too. This movie, it had some other things going on too in the beginning because Stallone wanted it to have a certain tone, and the original script he wasn't a big fan of, so he kind of scrapped that. He also wasn't a fan of how things were going with the original director, and it was in Kill. I can't remember the original director. He was the director of Highlander, Russell. God, I can't remember his last name. But anyways, Stallone wanted to get certain types for the Russians, so they could look imposing. And as Stallone had said, that he wanted these people to have a look on them that would make your blood run cold. And when Stallone went down to where they were casting it out with the director, he said he saw a lineup of a bunch of like blonde-haired, blue-eyed, pretty boys that looked like they came off of a surfing contest. And so he said, this does not look like a group of guys that would, give Rambo a run for their money. And the director disagreed. And Stallone said, okay, well, you guys can leave now. So they actually hired one of the second directors from the second movie. He did some of the action directing on that movie. But anyways, so there was some things going on behind the scenes, as you can sometimes imagine with big movies. But I agree, man. It started off really cool, seeing him just chilling out, trying to live a
Yeah.
peaceful life. And I thought, look, it's an action movie, guys. And I thought Sylvester
Mm-hmm.
Stallone is able to capture the essence of this character in those moments when he's allowed to in the
Yeah,
movies, you
definitely.
know. And it was great seeing Trautman coming back and doing some things. And actually, Richard Crenna gets gets a lot to do in this movie, which I thought was very cool. You know,
Yeah, he does.
he's deciding to go on this mission. He wants Rambo to come with him, and Rambo's like, "No, my war is over. I'm done." And this and that. So Richard Crenna goes over. He gets some help from some of the Afghan people, and it doesn't turn out well. He gets captured. His whole squad gets killed, or most of them, anyways. He gets captured by the Russians, who are trying to invade the lands. So, Kill, at this point in the story, what were you thinking?
Well, I mean, I love Troutman, and
Mm,
now he's also being used as a plot device. He's the
exactly.
catalyst.
Yes.
He's the catalyst, for him to come out. I mean, in last
Hmm.
movie, it was to try to get the POWs, and now
Right.
in this movie, it's to get his friend and kind of father figure, his
Hmm.
mentor, and also the weight of Troutman hunted him down and asked him to come with him,
Yeah.
and he had to turn down his mentor and father figure and said, look, I'm trying to find my peace, man. And once again, Troutman says so many really awesome lines. I just want
Yes.
to quote the one. He's just like, well, you know I didn't make you, John. I just smoothed away the rough
The rough
edges.
edges.
Yeah. And it's
Yes.
just like, man, so essentially, he's kind of saying, you were always a crazy killer, John. I just smoothed away some of the insanity. No, I'm just kidding. But 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 yeah, and then when the other government official comes back and says, hey, asshole, I guess I just want to let you know your boy got captured and it's all your fault.
Right.
So take it easy. Wait a second. You can't just come and just tell me that. Like, you know, and yeah, so the reasoning is there. And for me, in an
Hmm.
action movie, if the reason for the action isn't a valid reason,
Right.
it's pointless. It's worthless. It's
Right.
just there just to suit just an action movie.
Right. I
So
agree.
yeah.
Absolutely. Real quick in the chat before I get to you, Coriander, we have a couple of things going on here. Eric was saying, I love the idea of Rambo trying to find peace and purpose living with the monks. I agree.
Hmm.
It was a nice touch. I mean, you
Yes.
don't, I don't really think of any other, character that would be put in that situation where now he's, in a monastery and he's giving them money. He's fighting to give them
Yeah.
money and stuff. So I thought it was a cool
Hmm.
thing too. Doomsday saying, "You guys definitely almost sold me on Dark Fate with your points." Hey, that's awesome, man. Hey, it's awesome, man. We're not going to change people's minds, but just so that you know where we were coming from. But that's cool, man. Thanks a lot. Slasher Fred Russell McKay directed Highlander. That's right. Yep, and he was going to direct this until he fucked up. We got Tanny in the chat. What's going on? Welcome. Saying Rambo rules, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got my man Tony Man in the chat. What's going on, man? Saying Colonel Trautman was the catchphrase king in those movies. Wasn't he, though?
Yes.
Wasn't he? There's no doubt about that. But Coriander, just to piggyback off of what Kill was saying, when Trautman was captured, and this was the first time you had seen this entry, what were you thinking? Did you think it was a good point in the story to bring Rambo in, and what did you think as he started to come in
That
for the
would be the
rescue?
only thing. Yeah, that would be like the only thing to bring him back in is
Hmm.
if that happened.
Yeah,
So, and I knew it was
absolutely.
going to happen. So, yeah.
Right,
And I'm so happy it did because, I mean, Rambo, yeah, he's like a one man army. You don't need
right.
anybody else. And the fact that this goon kept like doubting him was like so funny because
I
he didn't
know.
even know what the hell he was talking about.
But it was, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to mention that too. They had some little bits of humor in this that were actually, sprinkled in, and I thought it was actually
Yeah.
kind of cool to give his character a little bit of a freshness, by this being
Hmm.
the third movie. He started to have some jokes. But Yeah, it was cool. He's coming in for the rescue, and he meets his buddy, what's his name, Musa. And he was basically his in between, with the people there and the lands, and also to give him direction. But of course, Kill, you always got to have a rat
Oh
somewhere.
yeah.
There's always a
Oh
rat.
yeah.
This guy was the rat, and he's the one that fucked it all up. But again, when you're talking about action, look, look, you look at this franchise, and if nothing else, people can admit it's got action, and it's really
Yeah, it
over
does.
over the years in every single entry, and of course we're going through the franchise. You always get something that makes you say, wow, okay, it's always something fresh, and you got to give Stallone credit for that. But Kill, at this point, when Rambo is getting close with the people there and trying to learn how he's going to infiltrate the fortress, the Russian fortress, what were you thinking at that point? And of course, we also met the Russian general that was holding Trautman.
Yeah, man. I was just thinking, like, all right, once again, he's in this kind of precarious situation where he has to be the one-man army, but the stakes are very high because
Right.
he definitely doesn't want to mess up, and he wants to get Trautman. But and thank you. I was literally about to talk about this scene.
Mhm.
I loved this scene with, I guess, the commanders of the rebellion here, how they're having this meeting, and they're also saying, okay, how much does this man mean to you? Because if you go in half cocked, not only is that man going to get killed, but we're going to get butchered, innocent people. So the stakes were really high. And, this Russian, general is sadistic and is just extremely cruel. And this actor sells it.
Well, didn't he?
And we say a lot, you need a Trevelyan, you need that antagonist.
Yes.
And the one thing I can say about the Rambo movies, and I mean every single Rambo movie has had a great piece of shit antagonist.
Yeah.
Every single one. And Coriander, you will see they get worse.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yes.
Yo, wait till next
How many
week.
more are
Ooh,
there?
we got 2 more.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
2 more.
Unfortunately, for
Yeah.
now.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
But this Russian commander, I mean, he's very intelligent too, because he's talking to Trautman and he's like, "You are the first American to be captured. Your people have abandoned you. Just work with me. Tell me where these weapons were that you were coming in to give to the rebels." He starts off really trying to be cordial with him. And then he's just like, "I will torture you, and I will watch it, and you will beg for mercy."
He's so matter of fact,
Yeah, it's like him breathing. Just torturing people's like him breathing. So to hear the native people there in that tent, those commanders tell Rambo, like, "Look, you got to go in, right, or we are going to be screwed." I know this guy means a lot to you. And I really enjoyed kind of Rambo being Rambo, showing his humanity, showing his respect for cultures.
Yes.
I mean, he goes there, he tries to build relationships with his go-between and also the young
kid.
the young soldier. Well, I don't want to say kid because he's a soldier.
That's true.
And they said, no, he may look like a kid, but he is a full-bred soldier. So they're also kind of showing something to the American audience and just audiences around the world. In this country, that's not a kid, that's a soldier. So the morality tales may not be as in your face as the first movie was, but they're still kind of showing you things to make you kind of think.
Yeah, it's not just, I mean, again, if you're not a fan of the franchise, or if you're not a fan of action movies, you're always going to find a lot to shit on this movie about. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at it with an open mind, it is more than just an action movie, and moments like this and in the other movies as well prove that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he was very respectful of the culture, and he had those moments where it was time to talk, which was also a lot different, in the franchise. And so, in other words, I guess what I'm saying is I appreciate Stallone and the filmmakers trying to grow this character. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was really, really cool. And Coriander, before I get to you, I just want to catch up with these guys in the chat. Wow, they're really working. Doomsday saying, "You three do a great show. Keep it up."
Oh,
Thank you so
thank you,
much.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate that. We really do.
Right?
We got my man DMC in the chat. What's up, man? Saying, "Hey, Night, Killian,
Hey.
and Coriander. How you doing,
Hey.
man? Nice to see you with us live." Eric saying, "It's got action. Wait until the next movie. I'll leave it at that for Coriander." Yes, it's true,
Right.
man.
More bodies are gonna get blown up. I love it.
Hey,
Yes.
let the bodies hit the floor.
Right.
That's all I'm
Nice.
gonna say.
John Steele is with us. What's up, man? Saying this is the one where Afghans are helping to fight the Russians, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Tony Man saying, what I loved about the First Blood trilogy is they kept continuity. The scar in his arm when he gassed his arm in part 1 and the necklace he got from part 2. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Neil was saying, I think Stallone has proven he can write and direct good action movies that give the fans what they want. Yes. Yep. Tony Man saying, John Rambo and Last Blood were awesome. Is Coriander watching those next? Yes, indeed.
Yes, she is.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be fun. Yeah, we're going through the whole franchise, and it's going to be a blast. But Coriander, to piggyback where Kill left off, he shows the respect to the culture, and they said, hey, we got to wait. But then, while they're doing the talking and Rambo is trying to get things set in motion because he's ready to go. He's like, I'm ready to go right now to rescue my friend. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, there comes an attack because of the rat, that rat. And all of a sudden, you got these helicopters that are coming in, and it's time to do some stuff. What did you think of this scene?
It was great. And can I say, too, I just think it's so funny that they always doubt, when they were playing the goat game, right? And Rambo, he can't ride a horse and do that. But again, he showed him wrong that he certainly can.
Right.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And when those planes came in, because that's when they were all on their horses, it was like,
yes.
I'm glad he had a horse because without one, who knows what would have happened.
Right.
But yeah, that fucking rat, man. Yeah.
Yep. He fucked it up, man. He fucked it up.
Yeah, he did.
But the other part about it too is that it kind of for me anyways it's taking left turns for the story because I would have thought that he would already been in the middle of saving Trautman at this point. But the movie, at least in my opinion, again, and I am a fan of the franchise, so maybe I have certain glasses on for it, but I think that the movie wanted to give you a chance to wait, and build up the tension with this preemptive attack before Rambo even gets to try to save Trautman. Because after the attack, obviously the people are afraid. A bunch of them have been killed, and they're like, "This is no good. We cannot win." And Rambo's like, "Well, I'll go alone." And I was like, "My man," he's like, "I'll go alone." And it's just setting things up. All the while, like you were saying, Killian, your boy Zassin, the general, he's just chilling out with Trautman. He's like, I think I have found a way out of this for both of us. If you would just cooperate, why won't you tell me a name? It will be best for you. And I'm like, this guy is good. I like this guy. You know what I mean? He's a bad dude. But Trautman is getting tortured. And if you're a fan of the movies, you're feeling a certain way about that. I know I was. And you're just sitting there you are just waiting for Rambo to get his hands on these, you know what I'm saying?
Motherfuckers.
Yes.
I'll say it for you.
Thank you, Coriander. But so Kill, at this point, Rambo's going alone. He's got his boy Musa, and then he's got the kid, the young man, who's coming along too. And it's so funny because Stallone was like, go back. And he's like, no, I want to fight. And he's like, I don't need you to die here. And, it's just, it's cool little moments. What were you thinking of this part when they were first getting into the fortress?
Well, there's that scene. For me, any movie that has a minefield,
yeah,
I always just feel like, ooh, 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 ooh. And John Rambo, he's a pro. He's got his blade that's gotten even bigger in this one, and he's like, he's sticking it under there. He's doing everything right, and his go between is like there, like, oh, we're here with you, yada yada. And John's like, dude, you're gonna die. All right. There's these wires here. Now you see John go like this. He goes down the right way, back first, and his go between is all like, and he's like, oh, and he gets it like at the last second. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have grabbed a raw wire that's like that tension. He clearly cut his hand. Oh yeah. Trying to save this dude. So these guys aren't ready for the street. They're not John Rambo. And the child soldier, he is a soldier, but he is not a veteran of war like John Rambo. Yes. And essentially now he's going into this and he has to focus, but he also, I gotta watch out for these guys too that are trying to help me. Right. But look, we've been on this journey with Rambo, and we all know he don't need no help. Like, you guys think he's a tourist. You have never seen combat. I can see it in your eye. You have never seen combat. Have you even fired it?
I fired a few shots.
And I'm sorry to go back to something, but Knight, you were spot on with like talking about just the moments of comedy. He's like, what is this stick? He's like, oh, it lights up. It's like, so what does it do? What does it do? It gives off light. It's just so funny, because go ahead.
It also, and just to say, I think it also played with us a little bit too, because like in part 2, he had all this high tech shit, right?
Yeah.
And so I gotta admit, man, when he was asking what's the blue light for, I was wondering too, like, is there something going to pop out of it or something? So it was, look, like I said, people gotta get over themselves when they shit on action movies, but the real fans, they know what's up. They know what's up with this franchise.
Yeah, they do.
But Coriander, so he sees Trautman. He gets in there. He gets the chance to save him. It doesn't go well. We see that scene where he gets, with the explosion, and he gets pierced with that metal rod. And it's funny too, because if you watch it, he just breaks off the rod, and I'm like, dude, that thing is still fucking in you, right? But we see that he has to retreat, and he also has to carry I'm going to call him the kid. We know he's a warrior, but he's a fucking kid. He has to carry the kid out. Moose is trying to get going. So it's like, okay. So what were you thinking at this point? Because I'm like, he didn't save Trautman. What?
I know.
He's going to retreat. What's up?
Right? I couldn't believe it either, because he was like right there. He was right there. But he had to retreat. And that scene when, he got everybody, where they had to be, where they were kind of safe, and he could take care of his wound. That was a crazy fucking scene. Putting his finger in the hole, pushing out that whatever it was. Yes. And then using the gunpowder to like cauterize it and stuff. That was crazy, because I know I'm going ahead, but
that's okay.
There's a scene where you could see straight through that hole in his body. And for 1988, I was like, wow, that was incredible, because that hole was huge. That was a huge fucking hole. So I can just imagine how painful that was. So yeah, that was a great scene.
Good point, girl. Good point. Awesome. Yeah, that was a crazy scene, man. And, people that have watched our first episode on First Blood, and obviously Kill knows this better than anyone on this planet. In that movie, when he had to attend to his wound after jumping off the cliff, and he's sewing his arm up. I mean, that scene was always so iconic to me. And when I first saw it as a kid, I was like, oh. But this went way further. I was like, holy shit! He's basically lighting himself, and you saw the flame shoot from his back out through his front, and I was like, good for you guys. Good for you. 1988, man.
Yeah,
no big CGI. Real quick in the chat before I get to you, Kill, and catch up to these guys. Speaking of Stallone, we got my man Apollo Balboa in the chat saying, Such an underrated film. Physically, Stallone was at his biggest, cut, ready to be their worst nightmare. Saying, I've always wondered if that kid may have been influenced to join a terrorist group, not having Rambo's influence. Good point. Very good point. It's like, he saw a person that was selfless and that respected other people and did things the right way. So yeah, I think it's good that he had that type of influence in his life, because otherwise, who knows what would have happened to him. Neil saying, you guys covering all these action movies is a bad influence on me. I had planned to watch a movie to review last night, but ended up rewatching Predator 1 and Predator 2 instead.
Nice.
Thanks, man. Hey, man, and just to say this, and I know some people may not have heard this, but I mean, that's the thing that's so fun about doing these movies, and especially people that have been around the channel for a long time, they know that Coriander, Kill, and me, we love so many different genres, and obviously we lean a lot into horror because that's one of our favorite genres. But there's so many other great movies from different genres, and obviously action. I mean, and Stallone. So we've been so happy to be able to not only talk about these movies, but to have an audience that's appreciating it that might be more used to us doing horror related content. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really glad that you guys are following us when we talk about action, and when we did our top 10 for comedies, and when we're doing, martial arts movies, and we'll be doing other stuff too. So we appreciate it. Eric saying that gunpowder cauterization is so awesome. That is a true 80s action movie moment.
Yeah.
Yes. Very true. Slasher Fred saying, there was a series I used to watch called Black Scorpion. Martin Cove, who appeared in the First Blood, played a villain called Firearm. I think I remember that show. I think I do.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, because I watched a lot of that stuff back in the day. But Kill, once we see what Rambo is up to, and he decides to go back, he's like, I'm going back to get Trautman after he took care of his wound and stuff. And I'm like, well, how is he going to do it? It, like, in my mind as a fan, what were you thinking at that point in the story?
Y'all done fucked up. I mean, look, the one thing that's very interesting, and Sylvester Stallone obviously is the linchpin of both of these characters, whether it's Rocky or Rambo. Mm-hmm. If he gets knocked back down, he gets right back up. And he gets back up way more determined than before. You have essentially, let's just say you have his father. You have a man that he respects like a father. Mm-hmm. He was this close to getting him before. Oh, he's definitely going to get him this time. Mm-hmm. And he's going to bring all of the gates of hell to your door, man. And the one thing I'll also say, and I'll keep this short, it's just, Rambo is like proficient in all weaponry and vehicles. Yeah. And I'm sorry. Yes. Look, if at your base, if you have a helicopter, if you have an Apache helicopter or a helicopter that you could transport POWs, keep it away from Rambo. Because if he gets it, it is on and popping. And I just love it because when he gets behind a helicopter, especially a helicopter where he could shoot, like, from the steering, block, he's going to start yelling. He's just going to go crazy.
Hey, that again, man. Do that
again. Only on this side. Yeah. and it's gonna be a bad day for all your soldiers, and they didn't sign on for that. No, those poor Russian soldiers. Look, they probably had a choice. Either be a farmer or a soldier. Okay, I'll do the soldier thing. They didn't think they were gonna be going up against crazy Rambo.
Right.
So please lock up your Apache helicopters. That's all I gotta say. All right.
Right.
It's too tempting for him.
So once he gets Trautman, and I love it when Trautman knows what to do, because he's like, can you move? He's like, I damn sure can, or whatever, however he answered it. But Coriander, when we get to that scene where they go down into the cave and stuff, and I thought it was some really cool scenes there.
I love this part.
And of course, Yeah, look, and people that watch our shows, they probably know what I like also by the clips that we use. I love when Stallone is using the bow. Like it looks
Yeah.
iconic. No one else, I mean, obviously we've seen characters use bow and arrow before. I'm not saying that that hasn't happened, but when Rambo is using it, it's just like it's hyper violent and intense and so forth. When he has that scene where he pops up over that rock formation and he's just prepped, I'm just like, yeah, boy. You know what I mean? So, what were you thinking about these scenes and when they were in the cave and trying to hold off these Spetsnaz soldiers?
They were great. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
took out a helicopter with those C4 tipped arrows. I mean, come
Mm-hmm.
on. It was
Right?
fucking awesome. And then they like retreat down in that hole and they send like a bomb down there and shit. But that didn't do
Yes.
anything, They,
Right.
didn't phase him or nothing. So
Yes.
yeah, and they come after him, and yeah, I mean, you got that one dude who's climbing down the rope, and he hits him with one of those arrows. Yeah, and
Yes.
he's blown to pieces. It was like, wow, it was, yeah. I loved this whole cave scene. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, and anytime you get Rambo in an environment where there's shadows or things that he
Yeah.
can hide around or whatever, it's over, man. And I mean,
Yep.
Man.
look,
He
it's
turns
just
into the
great.
shape.
Pretty much. Rambo is Michael Myers.
Coriander in the next two movies. Remember what you
Nice.
just said, because
Okay.
you think he's the shape in this.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Wow.
I know, man. It is
Wow.
awesome to
All
think
right. You're
about.
getting me excited for these movies.
It's
Ooh,
Nice.
good
man.
stuff, man.
It is good
Nice.
stuff.
It is. It is, man. And another thing too, and I know, and again, people. I mean, obviously, people that watch us, they obviously like it. But we just talked about Terminator. We finished our Terminator franchise, and I was just saying the other night, and it's true. It's Stallone too. These two, Arnold and Stallone. I mean, they literally shaped a genre of film. For well
Yeah.
over a decade and a half. I'd say even 2 decades, really. And look, man, they're still doing stuff. They're still great. They're still, whatever. But look, time catches up to everybody. And I'm just glad
Yeah.
that we have a format and a platform where we can celebrate these moments because I know for me, they meant so much for me, just as far as movies, life, athletic things and so forth. So it's just fun to talk about this. And like you said, Kill, we still got two more and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But when he's fighting the guys in the cave, a lot of things happen. Then you get your big boy who somehow climbed up
Yeah.
before Rambo. I don't know how
Right?
that happened. He was injured and he's like 300 pounds, but he climbed up
Right?
before Rambo and was at the top when Rambo climbed up to get out of the hole. And they had their little moment there. What were you thinking of that scene?
Oh man, like I mean, this dude is essentially the right hand to the
Yeah.
evil general. So I give him
Yes.
props, man. I was just like you. I don't know how he got up there first, but he was
Right?
determined,
Right?
man. And look, he was ready for it.
Right?
I got to give him props, man. He posed the greatest physical threat
Oh yeah.
to Rambo.
Mhm.
And yeah, man. So I give that guy mad props.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it ends with the a big explosion and stuff like that, which was really cool because he pulls the pin on his grenades that the guy had like and that was the other thing too. It's like, dude, don't have your grenades like right there in front of you, just asking to be fucking detonated.
Yeah.
It was like, come on. But it was a great visual scene how Rambo overtook. I know Coriander, you liked that scene because you're like, yeah, it's like you're done, buddy. But
Right?
but we still got more here because he's got him and Trautman. They're going back, heading towards the border so they can be safe. They got to cross the border to be safe from the Russians. And of course, they get stopped. And your boy's in his helicopter, the general, and he has that scene where he's like, if you surrender, I will not hurt you. This is an opportunity. It's your choice. You must make the right choice. And I'm like, This guy, he's good, man. So, Kill, what were you thinking of this scene? Because that's when Rambo was pretty much, and he even said, because Trautman's like, well, what do you want to do? And Rambo's just like, fuck them. And they just start shooting at an
Yeah.
army. At an army. Like
Yeah.
they're outnumbered. What were you thinking, Kill?
Oh, dude, I kind of remember back to the first time seeing this. I was like, oh crap, what's gonna happen here? Like, are they outnumbered? But I just love the fact that John is normally very cool and calm and calculated, unless he's behind the steering wheel of a helicopter. But in this particular part, what do you want to do? And he's like, fuck him, and just like he's been through hell and back, and he's like, look. Let's just put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Come on, Trout. Let's do it, baby. Yeah, man.
Be that hype man. Real quick in the chat before I get to you, Coriander. Let's see what we got here. Eric was saying, he says, I love Killian's excitement for part 4. Right? Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
DMC saying, I loved that final scene where they're in that small trench with the approaching Soviet army. Yeah, man, because I was just like, what's going to happen? This part right here, And I was like, what's going to happen? And all of a sudden, you can hear that noise from the horses.
No.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Exactly. So, Coriander, because they were ready to die, pretty much,
Yeah, they were.
What were you thinking about when they had the rescue coming for them instead of the other way around?
Yeah, that's such a great picture right there, honestly, because that just shows you that these guys, they're willing to die, and they're not scared, and it was great. And you saw the force coming in, the rebels to come and help, and those Soviets were like, oh shit, fuck this, and
right,
it was great because. You thought, it's over for him. Oh my God, he's gonna die. But no, they made it. They friggin' made it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, real quick, and so they made it. Obviously, they survived. And then I thought it was really cool because at the end, you just got a sense of Rambo in a different place than what he was at the end of part 1. Obviously, part 1, but even in part 2, it's almost like. He did what he had to do to save his friend, and he's at peace with himself because he was at peace with himself in the beginning of this movie. You know what I'm saying? So again, little character moments. I'm not saying this is Shakespeare, but I'm just saying in the world of this movie, in the world of action movies, nice little character moments. And, he says his goodbyes, to his boy and also the kid and gave him the necklace earlier. And the kid was like, do you want it back? And he's like, no, you keep it. And again, just little tender moments. This is like the biggest badass of all time. But here he is giving presents to a kid and being cool like he is.
And I thought at one point he was even going to be like, oh, come on in the Jeep. But nope, he didn't.
Right.
But
right.
I thought, is there a chance? Because it could have been.
Absolutely. Real quick, let's go through a few fun facts that you have, Coriander, and then we'll be finishing this up here. But our first fun fact, and of course, as Killian says, he's one of the best hype men of all time in movie history. The great Richard Crenna is our first fun fact we're going to do.
Yeah, this was the last Rambo movie that he was in. Yeah, he ended up passing away in 2003.
Absolutely, rest in peace. He was a great actor. He did a lot of great supporting roles even outside of the Rambo movies. Okay, Kill. Let's go to number 2 here.
Indiana Rambo.
Yeah. Rambo's horse that he rode, during the whole movie was also the horse and that Indiana Jones used in The Last Crusade.
Hey, that is pretty cool. I like that. All these connections with these legendary actors. Our third one, the helicopter close call.
There was a scene where, Stallone, was in with the helicopter and the blade was spinning. And, he almost got struck in the head. And if it would have hit him, he would have got decapitated.
Wow.
So that would have been tragic. Could you imagine?
Right? Oh my God, man. And it's interesting because a lot of these action heroes, they really do have close calls and big injuries, and it's amazing that things usually are as safe as they are. It really is. Okay, our next one here. There you go, Kale.
Respect the temple.
Yeah, the director stated that the monk's temple in Thailand was real and it was undergoing renovation at the time of filming.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is very cool. All right, our next one, Stallone ranking.
He ranked this out of all of, what is there, 6 you guys said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he ranked this the 3rd. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
there's 5.
Oh, 5 of them? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
5.
Yep. Okay.
Brando.
Yeah, he was the original choice for Colonel Zizan.
Wow.
So,
Huh.
yeah, could you imagine that, eh?
That would have been interesting. Marlon
Very
Brando.
interesting.
Wow.
Right?
Okay. All right. And our last fun fact that we've got here, got violence?
Yeah, 1990, the Guinness Book of World Records voted this to be the most violent film. It had 221 acts of violence and over 108 deaths.
Wow. Crazy stuff. And I'm going to let you know, Coriander, Rambo 4 surpassed it. Hey!
Hey!
Real quick in the chat
Nice.
as we get out of here. We got Patrick. Patrick's in the chat saying, get to the chopper. Yes. Saying Richard Crenna was in Alone in the Dark with Audrey Hepburn. Okay. Yeah, man. DMC saying, apparently the Rambo franchise almost took a huge shift as it would have pitted Sylvester Stallone against a hyper-intelligent beast. That would have been interesting to see. Yeah, I heard about a lot of those scripts that were going around for a while, and yeah, a little bit of sci-fi flavor to it. I don't know. I mean, I would have still watched it, but I don't know. I don't know how it would have went. I'm actually pretty satisfied the way the franchise went after 3. Let's see. Patrick saying, would have needed a big chopper if Brando would have joined the cast. Yes. Eric saying 221 acts of violence. Wait until next week. Laugh out loud. That's right.
Nice.
That's right. Just when you thought, right? All right. Nice. Well, anyways, guys, but at the end of the day, we enjoyed Rambo 3. It was a good time, and they were trying to do some different things with the character, and I got to give them credit for that, because it would have been easy, just like we see in a lot of movies or bad sequels of lower type movies, where it's just everything's always the same, just cut and paste. And at least with movies of this ilk, this franchise in particular, they were trying to do some different things story-wise with this character, so I give them credit. So anyways, yeah, so for you guys in the chat or watching the replay, please give the video a like. That help us out and support the channel. And also, just as importantly, please leave a comment down in the comment section. Let us know what you think of Rambo 3. What do you think of the moments in the movie? So many great action moments in the movie, guys. And I just want to go back to that cauterization scene. That's just some crazy shit. I mean, just think about that. That is cool shit. And like I said, this is 1988, and it looked really, really good.
It did, and like I said, that scene in the end where he's walking and you could see through the wound. It was like, wow, that was
crazy.
Awesome shit.
It's crazy stuff, man. But I give a ton of credit to Stallone. This is a fun franchise, and we're gonna be happy to continue talking about it.
Yes, look at the hole. I mean,
man.
Good one.
Yeah. So we will catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Take it easy. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Peace.